Well, my name is Will Klier. My wife Jennifer and I, we've been married for 17 years. We have 3 children, Joy, who's 16, Mercy, 14, and Liam, who's 12. I grew up in a thriving Assembly of God church in the Bay Area, and I went on a missions trip when I was 14 years old to China. And during that trip, I felt a stirring in my heart to pursue ministry, and I felt compelled to apply to the secular college. And I got into UC Davis. That's a whole story in itself. But that very first week on campus, I found Chi Alpha, and something clicked. I remember asking the previous campus missionary, well, what did you study here at UC Davis? Because I just thought this was amazing that they were doing ministry on the college campus. So after I graduated from UC Davis, I decided to give a year and pray about a lifetime. Well, I'm working on a lifetime. So we've been there serving for 20 years now. Since I graduated at Davis as missionaries to I believe one of the most strategic mission fields there, with 41,000 students from over 100 nations, and we've seen countless just lives impacted for the gospel. So one of our big focuses with Chi Alpha at UC Davis is discipleship. We're there to make disciples as Jesus commands us to do, mentoring them and pointing them to Jesus. So we'll do a weekly worship service. Last night we actually had about 130 students gathering for worship in a lecture hall right there on campus. And then Monday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, there's small group Bible studies. We have about 30 of our students leading Bible studies throughout campus. And then we have these ministry properties right by campus where we'll host conversation hours for those international students wanting to practice English. We'll do fellowship events, outreaches. So many stories, where students are walking by thinking it's a fraternity party, but it's a different type of party. We're definitely having fun, but we're glorifying Jesus in the process. It goes without saying that the last 2 years have been pretty difficult and challenging. The pandemic, seeing our campus become a ghost town overnight. And the wild thing, we switched to Zoom, like many ministries did, and we saw fruitful things happen. We saw students come to Christ. We had a Hindu student come into our weekly Zoom gatherings and felt the love of God through the screen and gave his life to the Lord, and he's now serving in a local church. I believe we're living in a miracle moment, an extended miracle moment. This last year has been one of the most profound years of my life, really starting with our winter conference with our students. We gathered students from all across the regions, from other campuses Chi Alpha is on, and Holy Spirit just showed up in power at this conference. We had the student Victor who had a car accident 2 years ago, and he's been walking with a cane ever since that accident. And we had a time praying for healing, and Victor felt compelled to take a step of obedience and to start jumping, even though it was very painful for him to jump, and the pain immediately went away. And he's been healed since, walking normally without a cane. So it was profound just seeing that happen. And honestly, I didn't really even have a goosebump in that moment. I was just like, wow, God, you're working here. And I remember there were some students, because sometimes when the presence of God hits, I really believe, God, sometimes he'll offend our minds to get to our hearts. And you can think of a UC Davis student, some are like, what is going on here in this lecture hall? Even this last weekend, we had our fall retreat. We took 120 students up to Chico at the YWAM base there, and just had our culmination of our fall startup to seek the Lord together for a fall retreat. And the student came who last spring, in that moment when that was happening in my life, I prayed for him, and he was wrestling with addiction, but he wasn't ready to be free. And this weekend he is there. He's sober, and he's seeking God, and I'm just like amazed at the work that he's doing on our campus. I just want to give a big thank you to Destiny Church just being a part of what's happening, supporting my wife and I to be there as missionaries, as well as helping with our ministry properties right by campus. The motto, which is on your diploma, and other Davis alumni, is "Let there be light." I always love sharing that. That is the motto of the University of California, and it's on landmarks on the campus. But if you don't know, that's straight from Genesis chapter 1. And I just believe, where there's darkness, the light can shine brighter, and we're there to see the light of Jesus shine from there to the nations.